Welcome to this week's Flippinar. This is Ty Taylor, aka the Flip Man. Appreciate everyone that has come out so far. We'll have others to join us throughout the Flippinar tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get right in it again. I welcome everyone. If you can hear me fine, you can please acknowledge that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here to acknowledge what we got going on here tonight. So let me do that. Okay, if you can see the screen here, let me get a couple of yeses from you all to help me out there. Okay, boom. All right. And I assume you can hear me fine. So let's get started. Again, welcome to everyone that has made it here on time at 6 p.m. I'm really punctual. It's one of my things. So those that join a little late, they can catch the replay, the first part of this when it hits YouTube later on tonight. All right, tonight's Flippinar topic: wholesale houses faster with YouTube videos. This is a huge part of the way I market my deals to buyers. It simplifies the process a great deal when you're trying to find a buyer, or you may already have a buyer and you just may want to give them heads up on a property before you put it out there to the masses. I just left a property a little while ago, sent it over to one of my main guys. I trust him. We've done enough deals together. It's no big deal. He's not going to steal it from him. If you're already in it, you probably already have some buyers like that. But once you get in it, you'll have those types of relationships. So if he wants it, it won't ever really hit the market, as far as the way I would market something. But if he doesn't want it, then I'll put it out there and greatly. I got buyers, but if he doesn't want it, maybe one other guy, because they'll pull the trigger and they'll close. We'll do a contract. I don't even have to collect earnest money from them. I just need a contract, so I'll have something to send to the attorney and boom. But I can easily do that just by sending him a YouTube video. The reason I'm even mentioning that. And he'll still want to actually see it, but it's guaranteed he pretty much wants it, because he's already say, oh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest thing is that this is one of these situations where the seller, she's made it known that she's contacted more than me. Matter of fact, when I was leaving, another investor was walking in the door of the property. So, it is what it is. I normally don't like to fool with those. I like to be maybe me and one other person. I don't like for them to just bid us out because she didn't give us a price or whatever. So, but, it's in a very hot area. So, I throw my number out there. If it flies, it flies. So enough of that. But wholesale houses faster with YouTube videos. If you're for the process that I go through to get to the actual meat and guts of this particular Flippinar, discuss a little bit about me, how I got started, why you should be doing this. If you're already doing it, and I just go through quite a few things that I think that builds up to the actual topic for tonight. If you already have been here to a Flippinar, you know what's coming until we get to the topic. But I think this is going to be some useful information. I take for granted that, this techie stuff, that's my hobby. I'm a very boring person. I spend a lot of time over the year. People have their hobbies. My hobby is the internet, and trying to understand it more and more, because the power of it is just, there's no limit on it. And I don't care what you're doing. You can reach a lot of people with the internet if you understand just some of the basic things. And I'm just a baby as far as my knowledge of it, but I'm probably a little bit more above average than most, but it's still on. Some guys laugh at the stuff that I do, I'm sure, so, but that's fine, but again, I use it for my businesses. I use it as a hobby. Is promoting my little course and coaching or whatever, which that's just a hobby more so I make a little money off of it, but I make my living off of doing deals. So I'm going to share with you the techniques that I go through when doing so. So just to do a little house cleaning here, recommended by an attorney. You're not going to make $10,000 unless you do something. Most people understand that, but we have to just put a disclaimer out there to let you know that. So don't let me forget this. Give away 2 courses at the end of the question and answer period of this Flippinar. So don't let me forget, 2 courses, no coaching included, but I'll give away 2 courses. If you want the full courses with coaching, you can go to flipman.net and sign up for the houses and apartments courses. And you can also sign up for the flipping vacant commercial buildings course. If you don't already know, 200 plus free video tutorials on my YouTube channel, flipman.net. Go there, subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe, make sure that you turn on the notifications. So whenever I upload a new video, you'll get an alert on your smartphone or in your email to let you know that I've uploaded a new video. We still have this Family Dollar in Ohio. You can get that $8,500 for a buyer. Just go to triplenetcash.com to download the actual offering memorandum, OM as we like to call it. They call it in the business. On the commercial side, it's basically a flyer with the information on the property, but they call it an offer memorandum. So there it is. You maybe learn something today. All right. If you're not already in commercial real estate, you just seen I had that building there. You can do the same thing. Nothing special about me, but I may know a little bit more than you. But I give you an opportunity to do the same thing. I did a recent video, 5 reasons why you should be wholesaling commercial real estate. And these are the 5 reasons. Low competition. You can do it virtually, literally sitting at your laptop. You never have to leave your house. Sea of opportunity, no cash or credit needed. And I really mean that. No cash or credit needed. And obviously the big fat payday. So flipthisbuilding.com if you're interested in getting into that side of the business. Again, don't let me forget about the 2 free courses that I'll give away at the end of the question and answer period. If you need private money for deals, if you're trying to put deals together, you may even just trying to provide access to money for buyers, privatemoneylist.net. Go there, submit your phone number. The next video, Keith Yackey will go into what the service offers. I actually use the real proof of funds, the realpof.com, so I'll get to that later on in the Flippinar. But again, privatemoneylist.net if you need private lending, and it also comes with a cash buyers list with about 40,000 cash buyers as of to date. My goal here tonight is, whether you know a lot about this or this is your first actual introduction to this form of real estate. My goal here tonight is to let you understand the power of wholesaling real estate, mainly houses, but even commercial, but mainly houses. The power of understanding wholesaling and what it can offer you. So my actual definition of wholesaling is being able to control a piece of real estate with a normal purchase and sale agreement at a deeply discounted price when we're talking about houses, and replacing or selling your contract via an assignment of contract to an actual cash buyer that will close and provide the funds to close the deal and obviously to purchase the deal. So example, you locate a property for whatever reason that's worth $100,000. All right, when I say worth $100,000, I mean fixed up, in excellent condition. That's what the house would appraise for, in excellent condition. For whatever reason, you can get that house under contract for $30,000. I know that may be mind-boggling, but there are a number of reasons. I'll give you some examples. Maybe going through a divorce and they need to liquidate the property. The wife may have control over it. She knew the husband loved this rental property that they had. She may sell it cheap just out of spite. Just giving you some examples. A person or a couple may be moving out of town. They had a rental property, or it may even be in the house they lived in, but they need to liquidate quickly. They need to sell it cheap, needs repairs. They know they can't get top dollar for it, but they want to move it fast, so they give you a move fast price. So they're motivated to sell. All of these reasons are motivated sellers. Another reason may someone just may be tired of the landlord business, tired of dealing with stopped up toilets, bad kids, people tearing up their property and them having to fix it, people not paying them, and they're just tired of the business. They want to sell that house, maybe a number of houses, and they sell them cheap compared to what the house would appraise for fixed up. Someone lost their job and they can't afford to repair the property anymore. To maintain, repair, pay taxes on it, and they need cash now because bills are still coming in, but the property is sitting there vacant. Again, it may be worth 100 fixed up, but in the condition it ends, they let you have it at 30. Okay, so I can go on and on with reasons, but those are motivated sellers. As I was explaining to a student today, most won't, but enough will. What that simply means is that most of the sellers that you target, most will not give you a price that works for you, but enough people will. That's why it's so important that you talk to a certain number of people per day, per month, in order to get to the number of deals that you actually need. Okay, so assuming that you get this property under contract, it says screen stop sharing, so just please let me know if it's still sharing. But you get this property under contract for $30,000. Okay, you'll market the property, we'll just say at $48,000. When I say market, that means advertise. You'll create a YouTube video of it. You'll put it on Craigslist, Zillow. You'll put signs out in the area where the property exists, and so on. And so you start to receive phone calls. Now, you may receive a ton of calls on it if you're doing a proper job of marketing and it's priced correctly. You can only sell it to one person. So in the meantime, you may have 20 people call you. One person can only buy it. So those other 19, you'll build a buyer's list. It'll help you start a buyer's list. You don't have the first buyer. That's why I tell you it's not important to have buyers when you start, because if you have a great deal, your great deals will build a buyer's list. So, but you have it under contract for 30. You advertise at 48. One person steps up and say, "Hey, I can't do 48. I can do 37." And I can close as soon as we get a clear title, which that's the words you want to hear. That's the phrase you want to hear from an actual real buyer. So it's up to you now. You probably can get more, but someone steps up to the plate and say they can move that quickly. They're going to put up earnest money. I'm going to take the $7,000 payday. So the difference, so how you would get paid is that you'll have a contract with the seller for $30,000. You'll have a contract with the buyer for $37,000. You submit both contracts along with a closing detail sheet on who's going to get paid what, who's the seller, who's the buyer, the price of the property, the address, your assignment fee, which would be $7,000, and who's paying the closing costs, whether it's the buyer paying it all or you sharing it or you're paying a portion of it or whatever situation. You close on the property, seller gets their $30,000, the buyer gets the property, and you get the difference between the $37,000 and the $30,000, which is $7,000. You move on, they move on, everybody's happy, on to the next deal. That is an actual wholesale transaction. So you ask yourself, is this something I need to be doing? Well, here's an example of two of my students. One of them in Memphis, Tennessee. This actual interview is on my YouTube channel. Just go under student, makes $6,440, and you should be able to find that particular video, that interview. But I did it as far as return on investment. We put up $10. They placed an ad on Craigslist. Family called them. They were moving from Memphis to, I think, Texas. I'm not sure what state. And they had a rental property that they started on, but they just needed to liquidate the property. He gave them a $10 earnest money deposit and basically wholesale the property from the date that he put it on the contract to the date he closed it in about 27 days. I think the number is. You go to the video, he'll tell you. The interview that we did, it'll tell you. So the return on investment, 64,344%, ridiculous amount of money. A student in Baltimore gave the seller a $1 earnest money deposit. Matter of fact, when he mentioned it, the seller wanted to pull out the money. That's how motivated sellers act. They don't ask you, well, you only have the next week to close. Bring me $2,500. Motivated sellers don't talk like that. Motivated sellers don't think like that. It just doesn't work that way. So long story short, he had a partner on this deal. they split $32,000. So he actually made $16,000. But the return on investment on the entire deal was $3,199,900%. Obviously, that's basically infinity. So if you're flipping a property, where when I say that is that you're actually buy the property, fix it at the cost of fixing it, and then reselling it. Example, right here to the left, the investment costs you $50,000 with buy fix. You sell it for $80,000, which is a good payday, which is $30,000. But the return on investment is only $60,000. I say only $60,000, but it's risk reward. So both make money, obviously. But here, as a wholesaler, you literally have nothing at risk but your time. Whereas here, you have $50K on the line. So you don't know when you're going to get the profit. So that's the trade-off. Someone was texting me today about that, and I didn't even want to go in it. I hope she's on this Flippinar tonight, but I didn't really even want to go into that part of it. But my point was to her that, even though it sounds better on the retail side of it, in my opinion, you should start out wholesaling. If you want to gravitate to the retail side of it, then fine. That's what wholesaling is for. It gives you an opportunity to make those decisions because you've built a bankroll to do so. All right. If you don't know, you can, if you're already on Instagram, or if you're not, you need to get on there. You can find me at flipman.net. You see my username here, flipman.net. Just find me on Instagram and follow me, flipman.net. All right. So who am I and how did I get started? I'm an entrepreneur first. As many of you all have heard this, if you've been on this Flippinar before, any of them before. Real estate is just one of the 2 or 3 ways I've only ever been able to make some serious money. Whereas I've tried a lot of things. I'm one of these people that have been an entrepreneur ever since I can remember, at 8 or 9, where I may have been selling lemonade or trash bags or delivering newspapers or whatever. That wasn't me. It happened for me a little later in life, in my 20s when I was in college. I had the brilliant idea that I was going to take student loan money and start a car dealership. So I actually researched it. That was before the internet. Researched it, found out how to get a license, and got an actual dealer's license. Started going to dealer auctions. It used to be very exciting. Thing about it, you'll get your hat handed to you if you're not mechanically inclined, because they will make a 10-year-old car look brand new off the showroom, but it will be a flat out piece of junk. And I was mostly buying junk. And so I was fortunate enough in most cases to get, if not all my money back, most of my money back by selling it quickly because it looked so good or whatever. But you can't survive, obviously, no business if you're not making any profit. So fast forward a couple of years later, I started a mobile car wash business. I got the idea from a friend of my brother's. I went to Daytona Black Beach weekend back in 1995, and my brother's friend was doing 6 figures a year doing a mobile car wash business in Orlando, Florida. So I couldn't wait till I got back to back to Birmingham. And I bought a van, a passenger van that the seats were removed, a baby blue van for about $900. Bought a 100-gallon water tank, a pressure washer, and I got me a little sign that I could put out in front of the truck when we were doing washes. And he was in business within like a week or so. That's the way I am. Like a lot of people, I've been studying this stuff for a year and 2 years. I found out about it one weekend, basically. And I was in business probably within the next 10 days. That's just the way I am. Now, I was fortunate. I didn't lose any money in that situation, but I didn't think it through because the summer was fine. That was started in the spring of 95. But once it rolled around to about October and it started getting cold for us, obviously some people laugh at the temperatures here versus, the Northeast and Midwest or whatever. But, what I can only go by what we're used to. So when you wake up one morning and it's 40 degrees or 30 degrees, you start talking about going out there to wash cars. Not me, so that was the end of that. So I sold the van. I think I got $500 for it. It was a piece of junk anyway, but I was happy to get it. So sold the parts. I think I gave the pressure washer to my brother and the 100-gallon tank. I think he actually still has that tank. That was over 20 years ago. So fast forward, I got into some multi-level marketing things that probably many of you all have. That stuff works, I'm assuming. It just didn't work for me. You have to be able to, either a couple of things happen there. Be very good at convincing people to believe what you believe, or get very fortunate is that one of the first couple of people that you sign up can get people to believe what they believe. You got to have that in your network somewhere to be able to generate money in multi-level marketing. So anyway, I failed at that. The last one that I got into was prepaid legal. I think it's called Legal Shield now. And I think I may have made 1 to 2 sales at the most, but I wasn't profitable regardless. And so I got fortunate. One of my friends, and so this is the way it happened for me with real estate. One of my friends is now wife. We're going to school to become realtors. And before I get into that, I'm assuming you all can still hear me, right? Okay, good. Somebody says my mic keep coming in and out. Is that for everybody? Is my mic going in and out, or okay, that may just be on his end then. Okay. So my mic is going in and out. Just say yes, sir, if it is. Okay, I think it's maybe only Greg. So Camellia saying yes. Okay, the other person said yes. I guess it's gonna probably be what you listen to me on. So there's nothing really I can do about it. So we'll roll with it. So hopefully it'll get better. Let me see if I can turn up my volume here. Okay, let me turn it up a little bit. Okay, so anyway, so my friend now, he and his now wife were going to school to become real estate agents, and the guy that normally taught the course, he didn't talk about being an agent. He talked. He wasn't the guy that normally taught the course wasn't there, and the substitute, he didn't talk about being a real estate agent. He talked about real estate investing and talked about creative ways of investing in real estate with no money down. So my friend mentioned some of the techniques that he was talking about, and it sounded good, but you still didn't. I didn't believe it. So that was in October of 2002. So a couple of months later, right after Christmas, right around this time right here. So matter of fact, I can tell you December 27th. So just a couple of days ago would have been, what is that? 14 years ago, a couple of days ago. And so I was up early waiting on my mom to prepare breakfast. Back then, when she was physically able, she would get up and make me a pan of biscuits, and I would eat Alica syrup with it. That's all I needed. I didn't need any meat or anything. And so anyway, waiting on her to prepare breakfast, and I was watching TV. And so Carlton Sheets, no money down infomercial was on. I caught it about halfway through it. And we've seen it, back then. Some of you guys may be a little too young for it, but you would see the infomercial, and, all the people were saying, hey, Carlton helped me make this much money. Carlton helped me make that much money, blah, blah, blah. So it really didn't tell you anything. So I called one up. I just went up the dial a little bit and called it from beginning to end. So I thought to myself, after I watched the program, I was like, this guy can't be lying about all of this. And so at that time, my mom didn't have internet. So I waited until I got back to Birmingham, and I did a search on this entrepreneurial message board that I used to frequent called ablake.net. And I asked the question, does Carlton Sheets program really work? And only one person replied, yes, it does, but Ron LeGrand's course is better. So I did a search for Ron's course, and I know I'm getting him a lot of pub here, so whatever. It's enough out here for all of us to eat. And I guess if somebody goes sign up with him, that'll be by replacement of not paying him directly, because I bought a bootleg copy, but I'll get to that. So anyway, at that time, his package was $1,500. And so, that almost was a little bit less than a month's salary for me, but that still was a lot of money. And so I um, um, knew I couldn't do that, but on that site they had a condensed version of it for $69.99, $80 with shipping. So I ordered that and I received it, and it was in cassette tape form. So that's how long ago it's been. And I listened to it, and all it was teasers to not tell you how to do it, but to definitely convince you that you could do it. Ron is very good. He's a great teacher and speaker. Obviously, you can't probably deal directly with him, but the information, I hadn't listened to his stuff in a long time, but he'll keep your attention is the main thing. I wish I was that good. So, but anyway, so I say, hey, if I have to get a second job, I'll save the money and pay for the course, the $1,500. And even though it didn't come with coaching or anything, but a person like me, that would have been enough. So a couple of days later, I thought about eBay and did a search for his name on eBay and saw there were a couple of auctions. So I bid it on an auction, lost. And back then, you could sellers could contact people that didn't win, and I know that probably wasn't what eBay wanted, but that's the way the system was set up back then. And so the guy, we went back and forth, and we agreed that he contacted me asking would I want a burnt copy of it, and so we agreed on $400. I wish I knew who that was. Stuff like that, just wish I knew it. Just like I wish I would have knew who was the guy that said, yeah, Carlton's program works, but Ron LeGrand's works better. I just wish I could just meet those people because they changed my life, financially. But anyway, so I ordered the course, and it was a lot of information. It was a wholesaling course. It was a retailing course, which is buy, fix, and flip. It was a lease option for sale by owner, subject to. So it was a number of courses in there. And it took me about 3 weeks to go through all that information with working. So I was going to sleep with it, listening to the information. That's why when people contact me and they say, hey, I want you to be my mentor, do it for free, basically. And I'm like, did you go through my free videos? That's what I offer. It's all there. I responded to a message earlier today with a guy. And I try to be nice about it. I think I am, just if you don't have the money to pay me, that's fine. But I give the information away through my videos. People don't even want to do that. that amazes me. If I would have found me, somebody like me, 14 years ago, there's no way, I wouldn't have needed it. That's just me. I understand. I'm not trying to not get you to buy my coaching or anything. I'm just saying, if you don't have the money to do that, take advantage of the free information. It's all there. You won't believe that it's really all there. But anyway, so long story short, I listened to the information. Out of all that information, I was on information overload. But if I didn't get anything out of it, I realized that wholesaling was probably going to be the best option for me and my personality and my weaknesses as a human being, especially as a businessman, and maybe lease option second, but definitely wholesaling. The other thing that attracted me is that it was stressed that get your phone ringing. It simplifies the business. You can look for deals through research and so on, but get your phone ringing and bandit signs. You don't have to do them. I'm just telling you, nothing works better. Direct mail works. Obviously, TV, radio, I've done all that, billboards, the internet, social media, all that stuff works, but nothing, if done correctly, and nothing works better than bandit sign. It's rare you can find something that's the cheapest and the most effective at the same time. That's rare. That's rare. That's wholesaling also, and it's the least risk, but it has the biggest return. You know what I'm saying? Now you can make more money doing it, but it's going to take money to make that money. Whereas the wholesaling is all about techniques more so than the money or the credit that you have. It's just all about techniques and understanding. So, to get on into it, so I ordered some bandit signs, overpaid for them. I spent $250 on 50 signs, which now you can get 200 signs for that, 250 signs close to that. So ordered those, received them on like a Friday, put them out on a Sunday morning. And the first two calls I got that Monday were deals. One of them was a lease option deal, and one of them was a wholesale actual deal. The lease option deal, the owner, I met with him, and we agreed on terms. I explained and taught the entire process to him, and he was okay with it. He just couldn't afford the payments on a house that his mom left. It still had a mortgage on it, and he lived in a different property. And so, I advertised the property, gave me the keys. I advertised the property. And this lady called me. She had some kids. She was in the medical field, and she had saved the money. You know, she didn't have the credit or whatever to buy a house, but she had saved money. So she gave me $5,000, you know, sitting right in the old Charlie's on Center Point Parkway in Birmingham. That used to be there. It's a Mexican restaurant there now, but and I couldn't believe it. You know, I could have stopped right there. I couldn't believe it. But that story changes. All right. The guy that owned the property, he was a handyman, and the property needed some repairs. And so just trying to, you know, just to be good, everybody win. I suggested that she allow him to do the repairs that she wanted. And so on top of that, trying to do some bartering and helping, you know, everybody win. A friend of mine that I was working with, he did mortgages, you know, he on the side, and the guy wanted to, the owner of the property that I had on lease option, he wanted to refinance the house he was living in. And so I just hooked them up. And so just out of conversation, I had told my friend that I had found a tenant buyer, and she had already given me the money, and he mentioned it to the seller. What did he do that for? He just was, you know, just wasn't trying to blow my deal up. He just was just talking, you know, and just conversating. And the seller felt that he should have gotten half of that money. And I didn't let him know that he should have gotten half of the money. So when he was supposed to meet the tenant buyer at the house, he came over there in a storm, told her to get off his property. Tyrone didn't own it, and he was going to call the police. So the lady called me crying, saying, hey, what's going on here, blah, blah, blah. And I just told her, you know, where are you now? And I met her and gave her her money back, even though I had spent about $700 of it. But I had to replace that. And so that deal blew up. So I called the seller. He and I got into it. I insulted him, found out he was a minister through my friend that hooked him up with the mortgages and whatever. So I insulted him on that level. And the last words to me, if I can remember correctly, you better hope I don't see you anywhere, is what he told me. So hopefully, I'm assuming I hadn't seen him in that number of years. But anyway, so the second deal was these sisters that inherited a property from their mom, like a lot of people that, you know, obtain properties that way. We're not going to sell mom's house, too many members there. We'll just let family members rent it out, blah, blah, blah. Sounds good on paper, but those are the worst people to rent to is relatives and friends. So they went through that for a couple of years, the relatives not paying them, tearing their house up. And they were motivated to sell. So they called me for one of my bandit signs, and we agreed on $20,000. At that time, I really didn't know if that was a deal or not. It just sounded like it was. So I went to sign the contract with them, showed up in my 1985 Toyota Celica convertible white vehicle, and they actually thought I had the money with me. I had to say, no, it doesn't work like that. So I explained the process. It may take 30 days to close or whatever, just go through the process. So I advertised the property in the newspaper, which that's not an effective way to do it now. Back then it was. Newspapers are dead now. But a realtor called me, said he had a client that wanted the property, would pay the $25,000. I explained to him that I was wholesaling it, you know, what I had it on the contract with the seller. Realtor said, hey, we'll do this deal, but you got to give me half of that. So I agreed to do that, met those guys in a shopping center parking lot. They gave me $500 earnest money, signed the contract. So we used their attorney a week or so later. We closed on it, $2,500. That was March 5th, 2003. That was my actual first deal. So it happened quickly for me. I'm not saying that's going to be the story for everyone else, but that's how it happened for me. But as you see, I took action. That's the thing. All the knowledge. I still wasn't sure what I was doing. I was probably only about maybe 40% sure what I was doing. But if I failed, I may have lost a few $100s, but it wasn't going to be anything that put me in the street. It was going to be more embarrassment than anything. And that was going to just be failing. Like I failed on the first deal in reality, when you think about it, with the lease option opportunity. But, that didn't stop me. I had to give the lady her money back. That was $5,000, so, but I had to give the lady her money back. I guess I was smart enough to not go out and buy up the mall or whatever, but, I gave her money back. And so, but my point is, I'm no smarter than you are. My market and where I live is no better. Over the next 12 months or so, I probably did 10 deals. I probably could have quit my job then, but I was afraid to do so. So I didn't do it until basically 3 years later, May 1st, 2006. The job that I worked, I was a customer service rep in the collections department for Bell South, which is now AT&T. And one day I came in off a split shift. I used to work from 7 come back at 3 p.m. to 6. And so coming back off one of my split shifts, I haven't gotten into this in a minute. Some of the Flippinars, I go into this, some I won't, but I feel like talking about it today. And one of the supervisors said something to me that I didn't like. And I was already quadrupling what I was making part-time on the job. So I was like, hey, I don't have to do this anymore. So I called the clerk's desk, told them I wasn't feeling well, reported out the next 2 weeks. On April 30th of that, which would be the day before May 1st. I went up there on a Sunday, put a resignation notice on the clerk's desk and my immediate supervisor's desk, let them know that was it. So they wouldn't call me the next day, but I didn't want to go through, are you sure you want to leave? All this stuff, we're going to miss you. I didn't want to go through any of that. And so, boom, that was it. May 1st, 2006, I dropped the mic. So what I discovered 14 years ago, that obviously there's some hard ways out here to do it. But wholesaling allows you to cheat the system. Most people think you need tons of money to start. You're wasting. Most people think you need a real estate license. They want to have everything figured out before they do it. I still make mistakes, but the mistakes are few, because I've been doing it a while, but it doesn't prevent me from doing it. And I understand everybody's not built the same. I understand that. I'm just letting you know that the mistakes that you make, they're going to be some precious learning lessons. Obviously you get the coaching from me, that'll eliminate a lot of mistakes because I've already made them for you. But even if you don't, mistakes are going to allow you to have some important learning lessons. And the great thing about it, it won't cost you lose money in most cases. It just may be a little embarrassment. Embarrassment is free. It's just a little feelings hurt, that's free. So, and most of you, obviously, you have a job. I didn't hate my job. I just wanted more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those people that was just getting up and, hating to go do what I did every day. I was sitting there talking to people on the phone every day. So people asked me, said, well, how can you deal with all these students and what you got going on in the business, whatever? The way I look at it, I just talked to probably a couple hundred. I don't know how many people you talk to in a call center, but we'll just say 150 to 200 people a day. If I could do that for someone else, which I don't talk to nearly that number of people, I know I can do it for myself. That's the way I look at it. I went to college. I won't take anything from what my experiences in college, what I learned, I have no idea. But my experiences and the people I met helped me grow up, from where I came from. I won't get, that's invaluable. But as far as what I learned in college to make money, it's very little for me. Not saying that's for everybody. That's my experience. As far as going to seminars, I've done that. I was even going to seminars when I was making money, but I wasn't really looking for anything. I wasn't paying for anything. I just going to the free ones that you go, and then they hype you up, you know, tell you, hey, you can get it for $19.95. You buy that, go for 3 days. Then when you get to the 3 days, hey, you can go to the $20,000 seminar. Then boom, we'll hit you with the 40 to 50,000. Boom, you know. So it's just a constant upsell. So, but I already knew that, you know, going in. I knew how it worked, and before I even started doing my coaching or whatever, I understood the game. So, but I was just going to seminar to see if I could pick up something marketing wise that I wasn't already doing. It was rare that I did, and I just finally just stopped going because it's just all the same thing. Not put them down, just telling you know, this from my point of view or whatever. So again, information overload. That's the experience that I had. I just learned too much in a short period of time. But you know, again, all the information is great. You know, I'm always say action is more important. Again, don't let me forget about the 2 free courses at the end of this Flippinar. And now we're going to get into the meat and guts of that. So that took a little longer tonight. Took me 41 minutes to go through that. Normally I do it in about 30 minutes or whatever. But I went through a couple of things that I skipped sometimes. But hey, I hope you all are still here with me. Okay, so wholesale houses faster with YouTube videos. Man, YouTube is a very, very, very powerful tool. Very powerful tool. I'm just going to go on over here. I love YouTube in the sense of what it's provided for me business-wise. Forget the flipman.net and all that stuff. I'm talking about just being able to show buyers what I have quickly. All right. Show buyers what I have quickly. It's just been so good to me. Now, the only reason, no, not the only reason, but more than likely the reason that you're here on this Flippinar is because of YouTube. You know, Facebook is great. It's great. You know, a lot of social media sites out there. But YouTube stands in a lane by itself because it's different than Facebook. But both are powerful. Don't get me wrong. But YouTube, that's where people go. You want to fix a car. You want to cook a meal. You want to see how to talk to a woman. You want to hear a song that you couldn't think, you know, you forgot about. You know, it's so powerful. As my friends say, Google is your friend. YouTube is your friend. So again, that's probably why you're here, is because of YouTube. So we'll just start with just the simplicity of it. It's easy to promote deals, which I'll get into the meats and bolts of it, but it's so easy just to send someone a text message, a link of a property that you have, and it just saves them time and it saves you time by going out, you know, because if they still want to see it, with most cases they will, but if they want to see it after they watch the YouTube video that you shot, the video, and most people have a smartphone, I'll get in that in a second. You know, it's a high probability, and they know the price that you're asking. It's a high probability that you have a deal there. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So when should you actually shoot a video? Now, I'm not even going, in most cases, like I did today. I did go out today on one. It's rare I do it. The lady wouldn't give me a price, but it's in one of the areas that is so easy to move a property if you get the prices a higher end area for my market. But it's really easy to move the property if you get a price. So she made it clear that I'm not the only person that she's calling or whatever. So I set up a time that went out to go look. But normally, the point I'm trying to make here is that normally I don't go out and look at a property unless the price works over the phone. So you may talk to 90, 100, 150 people if you're doing a proper job of marketing, but you may only go out and look at 5 to 10 of those, which is a very small percentage of that number. But we're not talking about selling pencils here. If you close, you know, half of those, even if it's just 2 or 3 of them, you may be talking about 15, 20 grand or more, depending on your market, easily that. So I'm normally not even going to go look at a property unless the price works over the phone. Okay, so whether it's vacant and occupied, I'm still going to video it. You're just going to obviously ask them, is it okay to video? Because some people, like the house that I went in today, when, you know, the house is, it's in pretty decent shape. It needs work updating to get the price that you could command in that area. But, you know, just a couple single guys living there, you know, they're not going to be the cleanest. You know, I had a couple of pets, you know, and, you know, I'm not a pet lover. So pet people that love dogs, they can't smell it. But someone like myself, I walk in, I smell it immediately. You know what I'm saying? They were standing at the door looking out before he came to the door, two huge dogs. Oh, they're friendly, they're friendly. I don't know, I ain't gonna get on my soapbox on that, but I'm like, nah, man, if you could put them up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So for you dog lovers out there, if you send someone that like dog, just put your dog up, please. You know, just courtesy. I was gonna only be there 10 minutes, but he did that. I'm just saying, you know, don't assume everybody like dogs or pets or whatever. So, but anyway, I can smell that. So my point is that's irrelevant. I just wanted to video the property. So once I go out, so that's when you video the property. Obviously, when the price works over the phone, that gets into your negotiations or whatever. But they're giving you a price over the phone that works for you. Now, in the situation I said, she didn't give me a price over the phone, but she indicated, you know, I can sort of feel it that I may be able to get a price, but I'm going to be competing. I normally don't like to do that when I think it's more than me, maybe one other person. But it sounds like she's putting it out there to whoever will listen, you know. But she called me so many times, and she called me. It was from a direct mail campaign, and I used the number that you see here on that direct mail campaign, so I know it's older because I changed it. So she must have kept that piece of mail almost a year ago, a year, because that's when I stopped using the number you see here on the screen. I started using a different number so I could track, you know, where my marketing is coming from. But she just kept calling the number, and I didn't recognize the number because it was local or whatever. And normally most people that are local, I have their numbers programmed in, so I just let people leave a message or whatever. So she finally left a message. No, I finally answered because she kept calling so many times. And so anyway, so my point is I'm sort of getting off track here. That came from a direct mail piece that this letter kept. It had to be at least a year ago that I sent that. So, you know, but that's how direct mail works sometimes. That's why you have to be consistent with it, because sometimes it bleeds in months later. You know, that's just how it works. All right, so how to video a property. If you don't have a smartphone in this day and age, you got a flip phone. Come on now. Come on. I tell my sister, and she calls herself in the insurance business serious, and she has a halfway working phone. I said, you're not serious about your business. If my phones went down today, I have a private phone line. I have a one for business. That's the number you see is the 492 number. I'll stop what I'm doing. I'm going to replace them. They're everything if you're in business. That's why people say you have a business card or whatever. I don't need one. Everybody has a cell phone, even if it's not a smartphone. You just exchange numbers or whatever. So if you don't have a smartphone, get one. It doesn't have to be an iPhone. You know, you can get Android phones relatively cheap, but most of them are going to come with obviously video capabilities, and you're going to be able to upload to YouTube. It's that simple. Whether you have a strong data plan or not, just go to a Starbucks or a McDonald's or a library, use their Wi-Fi and upload. Some of them are more difficult than others. I have people, I don't know, they say they need to connect with a USB port and all this stuff. I don't know. You know, I thought Android was easy. I have an iPhone. It's just simple. I can upload a 47-minute video in 30 seconds. Whereas some people, they say it's still uploading. I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought they were easier than that. So, so whenever you go out to video, the video should only be 47 minutes in most cases. Sometimes some houses can be relatively large, several floors, and it may take a little longer. But normally I can get a video in about 5 minutes. So but I just use the range of 4 to 7. So, you know, whenever you take the video, you're going to start outside the house, and just stand right in front of the house and just turn around in a circle to video the entire area around the house until you come back to in front of the house. Then you'll walk around the house back to the front, and then inside, and then just video room to room. That should only take about 5 to 7 minutes. I'm assuming my screen is still sharing here. Please let me know. All right, so when I'm videoing, I don't do any narrations. I've had students to do it. I don't recommend that. Just video it. I don't recommend narration. If you have somebody that's showing you the house, just politely tell them if they could allow you to video with no sound. So because some people just talk you all the way through the video, trying to explain it. But I try to do that first, and then I'll walk through the house first, and then I'll tell them, say, hey, I'm gonna go video the house. And so then I walk them, but I want silence after that, if at all possible. All right, now, if you're not sure how to do it, remember, YouTube is your friend now. So you're not sure how to do it with your actual phone, just go to YouTube, do a search, how to upload a video or how to shoot a video with whatever type of phone you have. So you look at the brand of your phone, and normally there are going to be tons of videos that show you how to do that. But don't wait till you get out to the house to do it. Test it before you go out to the house. Upload to YouTube, test it first. Don't wait till you get out there to the house to do it. All right. Okay, so how to video a property continue? Okay, there's a right way to do it, there's a wrong way to do it. Now, I think YouTube is getting better on this, but we're just still going to go with that. They're not there yet. Now, each phone is different. That's why it's important to test it before you go out. But generally speaking, the right way to hold your phone, especially iPhone, and most, I'm going to say Android also, you're going to hold the phone not the way you talk on it, but landscape, because it's going to give the wide angle like a TV screen. All right, that's the right way, and this is the way it should look. That's the way it'll look if you do it the correct way. Okay, so you hold the phone landscape, and that's how it should come out when you upload. But again, you're going to test to see that that's how it works. Now, if you hold it the way that you talk on the phone, which is vertical, it's going to look like this. That's not what you want. Does that make sense to you all, guys? Some people may have already know that. I know some people know this, but a lot of people don't. So that's why I'm making an emphasis on it to help you out. Which one looks better? This one? This one or this one? Which one looks better? This one or this one? Obviously, you want the wide screen. You want the entire screen to be filled. So I just wanted to make that clear. There's a proper way of holding the phone. Now, again, phones are different. So that's why it's important to test before you actually go out. You're testing the right angle to hold your phone. You're testing how to upload to YouTube. So, it's not that complicated. And if you're not sure anything technical, just go to YouTube and ask the question. There's going to be tons of videos that show you how. The more recent the video, the date of the video, the more accurate it is probably going to be for the device that you're using. So I hope that helps. And some people that say may know it, some may not already know it. So, all right, now uploading to YouTube. Again, YouTube is your friend. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a YouTube account. Google, which is Gmail, they own YouTube. So if you never logged into YouTube, you've probably been there. But if you never logged into YouTube, all you have to do is use your Gmail email address, your Gmail account, and the login, and boom, there you go. And that's how you would upload your video. It'll just say share, depending on what type of phone. Again, you need to figure that out by just going to YouTube, doing a search on your phone, and you share video. It may be another term, say upload or whatever, but you'll share your video and then upload it. Now, whenever I do that, and it's going to ask for a title and description, I don't include the address. I may say if the house number is 7730 3rd Street, whatever, I'll just put 7730 house. because you don't want to market the address. You just want to, so you can identify it. And so 7730, you can identify. So if you come across another house at 7730, you may say 7730 house 2, so, you just distinguish them, but you don't, I just thought that's the way I do. I don't market the address because I try to keep it off market in that sense or whatever, instead of just going crazy with the address all over the place. And that helps bird dogs be able to market the property for you. And I always try to, and if any of you all that dealt with me, I always say don't advertise the address. Only give out the address when a buyer actually talks to you and asks for it. All right. So once you have uploaded the video, now it's time to copy and paste your link. If you're not sure how to do that, whether you're going to grab the link from your PC or laptop, or you're going to grab the link from your phone. Again, YouTube is your friend. If you're not sure how to do that, just simply go to YouTube and ask how to copy and paste a YouTube link. And you can, if you're using a phone, just put in there how to copy and paste a YouTube link from my Samsung phone, from my iPhone, from my laptop, from my PC. That's all you have to do. And it's going to be tons of videos to show you how. Again, you want to look for the most recent videos because YouTube's platform changes. Does that make sense? So I'm trying to, some of this stuff, it's come second nature for me. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not overlooking something because I just know the stuff, and I just assume that most know it. So, but regardless, if you don't know something and you're having trouble with it, just go to YouTube and ask the question, and you have tons of visuals to show you how. All right. So turning your YouTube link into cashola. All right. So now what I do once I have copied and pasted the link, I keep all of my information as far as on properties on my smartphone in the notes of my smartphone. So when I have that link, I'll just go out, copy, and I'll paste it in the notes for that particular property. So I'll have the property address, the number of bedrooms and bath, really the conversation that I had with the seller, the seller's name, their phone number, the date they called, how did I get the call, where did they come from, whether it's abandoned sign, direct mail, social media, or whatever, a referral, whatever. I'll have all that information, and I'll have notes on why they're selling the property, the price, obviously, the condition of the property, just the conversation will be right there in my notes on my phone, but also I'll copy and paste the YouTube link in my notes on my phone. That's the way I do it. You don't have to do it that way. That's the way I do it because I always have my phone with me. It's somewhere close. I might not be where I can put my hands on it or whatever, but it's normally going to be somewhere close. All right. So now, whenever you advertise the property, whether it's on Craigslist or on Zillow, you might not advertise the actual link. You just make it clear, call or text me for a video of this property. That's normally the way my ad will read, call or text. I have the other information about the property, but I'll just make it clear also that you can actually see a video of this property. So when people contact me, they'll say, a lot of times I'll just get a text message out of the blue, send me the link for the property on Dead Street. So I'll just text them over the link. You're using free technology to your advantage. YouTube is free. So you're using that technology to your advantage. So that's my process. So let's recap this. I went through why do I love YouTube. It's clear. All right. Went to video a property. Obviously, I'm only going to video it once I have a price on the phone that I can work with. So I'll go out and video the property once I'm viewing it anyway. So I might as well video it while I'm out there. How to video a property. I went into detail on that. You can always go back to this replay. It'll be up on YouTube at some point, either tonight or tomorrow. Uploading to YouTube. Again, YouTube is your friend. If you're not sure how to do that from the device that you're using, you need to get a smartphone. If you don't have one, please get one. And then turning your YouTube links into cashola. And I went through that. So those are the basically 5 steps on wholesale houses faster with YouTube videos. Okay. All right. So let's get into some numbers here and why you're here. Most people want to wholesale because they want to change their financial situation or add on to what they already have in existence. All right, so 3 to 5 deals normally will change someone's situation. You can obviously do more. But we're just going to get into some bad numbers here. To accomplish, we'll just say using 3 to 5 deals per month. Most cases, you'll need to be talking to 3 to 5 sellers per day, whether that's through your marketing or whether that's you reaching out to bandits through for sale by owner or for rent signs targeting landlords, offline or online. 3 to 5 sellers a day, that's going to turn into that number of deals. That it's just going to work out like that if you're talking to that number of people and just going through the basics. There's no hard negotiations, a series of questions that you're just going to fall into deals if you're talking to that many people per day. So you can do a combination of things. You get to that point. It just doesn't have to be all bandit signs. Doesn't have to be all direct mail. You can be doing a combination of things to get to that point on a daily basis. All right. So, you're a wholesaler, but in reality, you're a marketer. Your job is to get up and let people know you exist. Screw buyers. Don't worry about that. It's not hard to give away money. Your job is to find great deals. It's really that simple. All right. So let's get into some simple math here. 1 deal per month. If you average $5,000 to $7,000 per property. Now, some markets that'll be a lot higher, but we're just going to use some conservative numbers here. You normally can get away with this in most markets. $5,000 to $7,000 per deal. All right, that's 12 deals per year. That's $60,000 to $84,000 per year. That's a good living for a lot of people. 60 to 80 for $1,000 a year. All right, let's increase that to 2 deals per month. All right, $5,000 to $7,000 per deal. That's 24 in a year. That's $120,000 to $168,000 per year. Even better living. Let's increase that to 5 deals per month, 5 to 7 per deal, 60 deals in a year. That's $300,000 to $420,000 a year. Hey, again, they know your name at the bank. How are you doing, Mr. Taylor? I'm doing great. How are you? Don't let me forget about the free courses after the question and answer period. If you need real proof of funds, you can, if you need proof of funds, go to realpof.com. You're going to deal with real estate agents. That's the only way they're going to take you serious. Real estate agents and real estate brokers. You're going to need proof of funds. You can get around the earnest money that they'll require if you understand what you're doing also, but definitely the proof of funds will help you do that. Again, privatemoneylist.net. Go there, submit your email, your cell phone number, and you can access that. Keith Yackett will go through his presentation on what the service they offer. He actually offers this service also. Been using this. All the properties that you've seen me put out there as far as commercial, we use these exact proof of funds to do that with. All right, so let's get into the question and answer period of the Flippinar here. And I'm going to go over here to chat and see what we got. And again, guys, don't let me forget about the free courses. So we got any questions out there? Do you use POF when dealing with a seller without a realtor? Never. Never. They're not motivated enough if they ask for proof of funds. It just does not work that way. Not saying that it couldn't be an issue at some point, but generally speaking, motivated sellers don't ask for that. They don't even know to ask for that. It just doesn't work for that. With houses now, with commercial is standard business, but with houses, no. What if you have a house that is bad shape? Should you still post it on YouTube? Most definitely. Real estate investors expect, houses that need a lot of repair. That's probably one of the number one reasons why you can get them so cheap. Is the condition of it. So they just still want to know what they're dealing with. So to see if the price is in line with the condition of the property. So to answer your question, yes, it doesn't matter at all. That it doesn't matter. I wish I would have. I'll probably do it one day. I'll show the video of a house that could have made the hoarder show. But I made a lot of money off of it. Because it's basically in the same area where this property I went and viewed today. Yeah. Someone says, how many banner signs a week should I put up? Ideally, 50 per week. If you can get away with 100, that would be killing it. You're in the game, but ideally 50 per week. I know some people can't afford that because that's 200 signs over the course of a month. But if you can get, but some are better than nothing. But ideally 50 per week. Does it usually take 30 days to close a deal? If you had a property under contract with a seller and you had a buyer to go, we'll just say tomorrow, that place is under contract, 10 days should be the max. One of the most recent, within the last year or so, the recent deals I've done, one of the biggest deals I've done on the houses anyway, it only took 8 days to close it. But sometimes it takes longer. One of the recent deals I did, also, I think my contract ended on December 2nd, and we did the deal on December 12th, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. So that was like over 40 days there, so it'll vary, but if you have a really good deal, it should always be able to close in 30 days if you're doing a proper job of letting people know it exists. All right. Someone says, should you be concerned about the areas the house is in? Yeah, that's always relative. Location. But I've done 90% of the deals I've done over my time has probably been in the same areas that you see on the news every night, leading the news on, I don't care what market you're in. So, but it's all relative. It still has to be the certain standard of criteria. They have to be cheap in a lot of those cases. So it's relative to the condition of the property and the price that you can get. So, but there are deals to be made. You obviously have to go with what you're comfortable with. But one of the first things that I learned whenever I got involved in real estate is every house is a step up for someone, which simply means you can take the worst house in the worst neighborhood, and you can find someone that will want to take it off your hands. I'm talking about for free probably, but you can go to a homeless, someone living on a bridge, and you go say, you want this house, and they'll probably take it off your hands. So where you live right now, for a lot of people, will probably be a Taj Mahal, but for a lot of other people, it's not good enough. So every house is a step forward, and that simply means don't get caught up in where you would like to live as far as doing deals. It's just a deal is a deal. Doesn't matter where it is. But it has to be justified, the condition and where it's located. What if you don't see signs in your area? Where should I put them? First of all, you need to probably get outside of your comfort zone. Seems like I answer this question every week, but that's fine. Where I live and where I do deals is 20 minutes away, 25 minutes, 30 minutes away. So you have to get outside your comfort zone and see what signs exist. Bandit signs are nothing new. Most guys have already tested signs in your area. They've already tested signs in your area, so you should follow where the signs are. I know you want to be where no one else is located, but normally you're going to be wasting your time and money if you're putting signs up in areas where they don't already exist. Now, you could do some testing. I may put them up on a Friday and see how long they last, or whatever in the area, but I wouldn't put up many. I wouldn't go crazy with it. The worst thing you can do is order 100 signs, put up 100 signs in a week, and they all come down. So some of it's just testing, but one of the easiest things to do is just put signs in areas where they already exist. Let me see here. I'm getting a little behind. I'm trying to catch up here, guys. All right. What's my first step after I locate a property with a good deal? I'm assuming you're going to put it under contract, video the property, and start to market it on Craigslist, Zillow, putting signs out in that area where the property exists. Um, Someone says plenty of money to make in the ghetto. You don't have to live there, just sell there. Okay, that's what's up, I guess. Um, Someone says, so what if what happens? So what happens if you can't get a motivated buyer, well, cash buyer, after you sign a contract with the seller? Well, if you can't find a buyer, and that's going to happen, just real world stuff. If you can't find a buyer, you go back to the seller and ask them for more time. They give it to you. Ask them for more time, and they don't. If they don't, they keep your earnest money. You go their way, they go theirs. You move on. You probably didn't do a great job of negotiating the deal. Your market will tell you, or again, you're not doing a great job of marketing your deals. Is it hard to use an assignment contract with a realtor? It won't work that way with a realtor. You won't ever whip out an assignment contract with a realtor. You're going to use their contract, and the procedure is just different. You're going to use their contract. Now, with your buyer, you may use whatever contract you want to use or your buyer wants to use, but an assignment contract won't. But I don't even use assignment contracts in the sense that the buyer actually signs one. It's just in name only. I actually use two purchase and sales agreement. If an attorney needs that to close the deal, they'll present it at the close and let me sign, let the buyer sign, and boom, there you go. But a lot of times the ones I use, they don't even ask for it. Someone says if you want to wholesale a house, does it need to be listed as a buy as, I guess, is what you're saying, Greg? No, that won't matter. If I understand your question, that won't matter. Is there a good wholesale market for the damaged or condemned houses? Well, if they make that list, it really doesn't matter as long as, in my opinion, like someone sent me a video of a property. I don't know if it was a student, and I had to be a student because I normally don't sell stuff like that unless you are. But all it was. I think it was in Baltimore, and all the houses were, and I guess they're row houses, what they call them. But all the houses were like vacant. I was like, that's the same thing your investor is going to see. But if it's a condemned house and that's the only condemned house on the street or a vacant house on the street, then yeah, that may be some opportunity there if you can get the price that you need to make it work. Can you wholesale bank-owned property? Well, technically you can. You got to have some pieces in place that you don't have to do it if it's a private seller. But to answer your question, yes, you can. You're going to need proof of funds. You're going to need earnest money in most cases. Well, in all cases. And you're going to have a different type of buyer for those because it's not like bank-owned properties or secrets or anything. Those are everywhere online, so it's not like they're secrets or anything. So, but to answer your question, you can just have to go about it a little differently. All right. Greg says, like on Zillow in the description box, people usually have the house sell as is. Do you absolutely have to only get as is properties on the contract in order to wholesale? Well, one of the reasons why you're going to be able to get the price that you're going to get is that you're going to let the seller know, hey, I'm going to buy it as is. That's just part of the course. To answer your question, Greg, I guess yes. I guess technically you don't have to do it that way, but normally that's just how it works out. That's the only way you're going to get the price that you need to make it work. That's just standard negotiations that, hey, they don't have to worry about an inspection or any of that. You may have an inspection period that can qualify or whatever, but they won't be on the hook for anything. They're not going to have to fix anything for you to buy it. They know that you're taking it as is if a deal does go down. What is the best site for pulling comps? Well, you can go to YouTube, just do a search for calculating ARV in 60 seconds. That's one of my more popular videos, and that video will explain how to do that, Thomas. I think that's your name. What is the best site for pulling comps? Just do a search for calculating ARV in 60 seconds. What is virtual wholesaling? Well, virtual wholesaling is basically if you live in New York and you're trying to wholesale a property in Philadelphia, that's virtual wholesaling. The property is not in your market, not in your immediate market. In most cases, not in driving distance. Let me just say that. I guess anything can be in driving distance, but you know what I'm saying, within reason. I guess I just answered it. How do you do virtual wholesaling? Um, well, with houses, to me, commercial, if you want to do virtual wholesale, you need to be on the commercial side of it. Houses are more difficult because the most difficult thing, and it's real world stuff. I know you see a lot of stuff out there, but it's keeping the buyer and seller from meeting each other. That can blow up a deal faster than anything. Because if you're not there and you're in New York and they're in Philadelphia, we'll just say they're in Philadelphia, but the seller and the buyer are there, the buyer is going to want to see the house. Who's going to show it to them? You know, just like I went and seen the house today. If I was in, we'll just say at Atlanta, well, that's not too far to drive from Birmingham. It's a couple hours, but just assuming still they didn't want to come down here. And I sent my buyer over there. You know, that's their first time meeting. You know, I'm the separator. Now, if it was a situation I could put a lockbox on it, you know, from a distance, I could probably figure out how to do that. Then so be it. But a lot of times, the situation is you're selling the buyer going to meet. Now, again, if you got somebody on the ground, you can establish that some kind of way through hiring someone or agent or whatever. Then you can make it work. But I strongly advise my students do deals in your own market first, and then you can try to figure out that later. If you can't do deals in your backyard, virtual wholesaling is going to be a lot more difficult. Now, you could probably get into some co-wholesaling situations, but all that stuff is, trust me, it's harder than doing it in your backyard. It sounds good on paper. Oh, I can wholesale all the country, but with houses, that's different. With commercial, normally the seller doesn't live in the city or the buyer, and the only person that's dealing with it is the broker. You can do it. And a lot of times the broker is not even in the city. And so that's why, in my opinion, then it's bigger paydays and it's worth it that you can do wholesaling virtually with commercial versus with houses if that's going to be your thing. You literally never have to leave your laptop. All right, so I don't know if we have any more questions. Give it a couple of more minutes. What do you think of bidding online auctions for homes like HUD? Well, you have to have the resources to close on those. Now, I know people probably wholesale with HUD homes, but again, you still need the right type of buyer for those, because it's not like those are secret properties or anything. Those are advertised to the world, you know. So, but it's possible, but just you got to have the proper resources in place to do that. So I think we're questioning out, guys. Let me go ahead and try to knock out these free courses. I really appreciate everyone showing up tonight that's on the call. And I'll start with the actual people that are logged on first before I do the phone numbers. So give me just a second here. All right, 1 second, guys. So the winner on the login side is, let me record her info, is Kathy R. Kathy R. So Kathy, do this for me. In the chat, the last 7 of your cell number, and then text me from that number. My number is you see it there on the screen, 205-492-3425. So hit me on the last hit me on the chat with the last 7 of your cell number, and then text me on that number, from that number rather. All right, and so today's date is the 29th. Kathy R. All right. Now on the phone side of the game, let's see here. All right. The last 7 numbers are 791 2403. So if you'll text me from that number to 205-492-3425, and I'll give you instructions on how to get the access to it. So guys, remember, I thank everyone for coming out. You can go to flipman.net if you need the course and coaching. I have the 200 free videos on my YouTube channel, flipman.net. Just go there and do a search. Subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget, follow me on Instagram, flipman.net. You see the username there. Make sure you register for next week if you want to increase your chances of winning. Also, make sure that you tell a friend or family member about what we got going on here. So again, Kathy R. Let me see, where are you? So it's 379. Okay, there you go. Okay, you text me. Okay, we're good. All right. So and then the person from 791-2403, if you want it, just text me and I'll give you instructions on that also. So I really appreciate everyone coming out. Again, 200 free videos on my YouTube channel, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, and we'll see you on the flip side.